Hey, it's Mike with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Thursday. It's August 23rd. This will be our chart lesson for today, and this will um, wrap it up for the week. No chart lessons on Fridays. We'll be back again to do it Monday, though. And interesting day. It was mostly sideways, but we had a little bit of a trend up, and then we had this big sell-off, which was a nice surprise. There's a perfect reversal in here. If you caught it, you could have ridden this most of the way down. There was another opportunity to enter as well. There's not really any setups after that, but even if it had come back to this trend line down through here, being that far away from the EMA that long, I doubt I'd probably enter on a first entry. I'd probably have to have some kind of failure or a second entry or something, and we didn't get that. So, and then when we dropped, we just got kind of stuck in a little bit of a sideways. We had a little trend up here and there's really a couple of legs up, but this is more sideways or swinging back and forth. You can trade this both ways. So um, anyway, not a lot of trades today, but there were some pretty good ones. We'll talk about them and go from there. So um, let me back out just a little, make it a little bigger, easier to see. And I actually got an email from one gentleman saying that he's not getting the email that goes out when the mid-morning report goes out. I'm just curious if there's anybody else that hadn't got it that has been getting it. If you got to go into your account and set it up, and you got to have a live account. I think it'll send it to you even if your membership expires, as long as you've got the boxes checked to send the emails, you'll get them. So if there's anybody else that's set up to get them that's not, drop me an email and let me know, because I actually send out some test ones, and everybody that I checked with a test, I'll say they're getting the emails, including myself. So I don't know if it's just something with this gentleman or if there's an issue, but I can't find anything wrong on the site. And he's tried a couple of different emails, and he's not getting them in either one. So just if you're normally getting it and you hadn't been getting it the last few days or so, let me know, and we'll kind of take a look at it. But I hope it's just a limited issue with him, and we can figure it out. But let's talk about the trades. First trade I saw, we're in a real tight range here. There's a lower high coming off the high and a relatively bearish bar. So honestly, I'm not sure what time that was. Maybe that's 6:07. So that's too early. But when it comes back that third time, and this was after 7, that's a great setup. You still got plenty of room to get out before the lows. Just go short, right? And this really would be down here at that point where most of the lows and closes are. I moved it up later in the day to fit this range, just maybe a tick or so higher. So that would have been a great entry. Quick, easy scalp, and then we get a bounce here. And this is just a higher low. Notice that we got these lows. You test it once, you test it twice, and then you get a higher low. This one is into the EMA, and there's a little bit of sideways there. So I did make it green, but I'd probably take that trade, to be honest with you. But it does push through, come back, and give you a true reversal and a failed second entry short, and you still got plenty of room. Another quick, easy scalp. So you got two quick, easy scalps that are easy to read and almost sure thing reversal type patterns. And this one keeps going. You would have had a runner here. I don't know if I would have tried a runner here. There's enough room here that I might hold a runner just to try to let it run a little more than 4 ticks, because it's a couple of points up here to the highs. And so you might get a runner there. And if you did hold a runner, it just keeps going. I don't know if I'd have held on to it through, when you start getting this much resistance in a minute, this thing could just drop. But it keeps going higher. And you do get a failed break. So I was really kind of considering maybe going short, but notice how it just keeps working high. And we do have a nice trend up here with so I would expect it to maybe try to test this high. So I'd be real leery about getting short through this stuff. Um, there is a second entry short, but notice how you get to a couple of bars before it breaks lower, and how everything's still way above the EMA. So you're still really in the uptrend mode. So I wouldn't be trying to go short there. And there is a failed second entry short here that goes higher. And I'm not even crazy about that one, because there's a lot of resistance right here, a lot of bars, a lot of stems on both sides. I'd be real careful there. But you expect a retest of the high, and it is you do get a double bottom, and then another basically higher double bottom. So you may go long right there. It's not a perfect setup, but it kind of fits the criteria. And then of course, now you got a break of this, a new high, and you got a lower high here. I didn't like this one because it's right into the EMA, and it could bounce and you get another leg similar to this one up. Or we could be, another thing I didn't talk about is you got that measured move. So we look for a measured move, and we're a little further than a measured move. I didn't draw that line, but let's just move it up there so you can see the big picture. That would have put us, notice that we got right to that, found resistance, pushed just enough higher, and then we come back and test it. So, I didn't mean to delete that. So you might consider going short right there, but I think you're better off to wait. And unfortunately, it didn't tick higher there. That would have been the perfect entry, but it does give you a failed second entry short, or I'm sorry, long right here. And so I like going short right there. And you might even could argue to enter this one. I'll definitely make this one green here. And you could argue for this to be green because it's not a perfect reversal because it doesn't break higher, but it still tries to come back and fails and turns and goes out the other side. So it could have easily ticked higher there, and then that would have been a perfect setup. So then we do come back down here to the midline. Looks like we may bounce, and then it goes higher, and you get a big bearish bar that probably traps people. I was hoping it'd go straight on through. It didn't, but it wasn't just a second before it broke lower. And so any of these, hopefully, might have. This one would have given you a runner. This one, maybe. This one would have given you a runner. And you could have ridden this one all the way. I would have tried to at least hold on to it to here. But when it just kept going right on through, I'd probably just hold on to it. And then we come back, you get a first entry, you pull back, you get a second entry. Way too bullish though for me. So I'd wait on a lower high, which comes here. It didn't break higher, but it's still a lower high to a bearish bar. Just put you a sell stop right there. And actually you could have used a limit order if you let it break lower. It backed up a little bit and you could have gotten maybe a tick or two back in that one. I'm not sure exactly what would have got filled, but you could have got even a little better entry. But notice we get the break, couple legs down, we do get a new low, and then you get a failed second entry short there, a bullish bar. And at that point, you really didn't have all this resistance here. There's a little bit right here, but with that trap, that's probably going to trap people to the short side, so I like going long there. I really thought it would take off, but it doesn't. It gets hung up here. And so now you got to be real careful. I wouldn't take any of these other entries, even though they're bouncing off that trend line. We're not making higher highs or higher lows. We're just kind of going sideways. And you can see that. And you don't want to get trapped in that. So don't enter there. I don't know why I've had some real problems with my mouse lately. It did break through. That's a horrible signal bar. There's a second entry there. Way too neutral, right into the eyes. You got to skip that. And of course, this turns out to be a failed break higher. That's really tempting. It's not that far away from the EMA though, and there's looks like there's a close outside, but that's not real convincing. So wait on a better reversal, and look how it pushes through the EMA, pulls back, breaks higher, turns, gives you a bearish bar. Now I like going short there. Quick, easy scalp, and we just kind of get sideways again. We do get back through the upper resistance, and we try to go lower twice, and it actually breaks lower and turns and comes up with a bearish bar. I like going long right there, and because you're probably going to trap some people here that think it's going to go lower again, because that's a pretty good sell-off. So at that point, if we do continue lower, you want to look at a possible measured move like that, and I'm sure that probably tripped up some people trying to get in ahead of the game. And I mean, still there's some nice moves there and some nice scalps, but you're not going to get any big runner there or anything. And I like that one. And then of course we push higher, we make a higher high, we're making higher lows, we bounce off the EMA, the trend line, another bullish bar. I like trying to go long one more time there. hoping it'll take on off and maybe we'll get a measured move like this move. Doesn't turn out to be so, but possibility, and that's what I would be thinking there. We came close, but once it came back again and we got all this resistance up here, actually these 3 or 4 or 5 matching highs here might be enough to scare you off of this trade. This could easily be green. So, honestly, at that point, I really thought we were headed for another leg up, a measured move. Didn't happen, but and it got just enough to get a scalp, and then anything, if you tried to get anything more out of that, you got burned. So that's why we scalp out and try to hold runners just in case. And it was good for a scalp, and that was it. That got us into 2 o'clock. I'm doing this a little earlier today, and I moved through it a little quickly, I feel like, but some people like them quicker anyway. They hate when I drag it out and try to explain too much, but some people want me to explain every little detail. So I can't make everybody happy, but I got to be somewhere today, so I'm wrapping it up a little bit early. Still have plenty of time to go over all the trades, but I do feel like I rushed myself a little bit. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We're done for the week. We'll be back Monday. Hope you have a great weekend. Hope you've had a good trading day, good trading week. Hopefully tomorrow ends up on a positive note for you. But I'm done for today. We'll see you next time. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com.